What's going on, everybody? This is Rio coming at you with another FSD video. I'm on version 12.5.1.3 on hardware 4 in my Model Y, which is the latest version. And I wanted to take a second, just kind of give you guys my big picture overview of this latest version, because I've been driving FSD pretty consistently for the last year and a half, 2 years. And this latest build, 12.5.1.3, is by far the most complete build that they've had and the smoothest. I've been driving it consistently for the last couple weeks. I've had no interventions. I've had no safety intervention. Sometimes my wife uses it and she's had also a very good experience. So I have to say that it's just really come a significant way since, obviously since they started with it, but really since version 11, which had a lot of kind of kinks, you know, in the armor, I guess, little issues that would pop up here and there, or driving issues. But this version is absolutely, you know, it feels like it's ready for robo-taxi. Now, obviously, there's some things with drop-off and pickup and parking where it's not quite, you know, it's not quite complete. They can do parking, but, you know, when it gets you into a parking lot, usually that's kind of the end and it doesn't know exactly where you want to park, that type of thing. But overall, I mean, it's been tremendous. And for people who aren't exposed yet to FSD or don't have the latest build, I just have to say it's really special. And if you're thinking about maybe, you know, spending, what is it, $80 a month to test out, this is definitely a version that I think is worth the money if you drive, you know, on a daily basis, or if you have some drives where you think it would be nice. So that's just a start. I just wanted to drop that off, and hopefully this drive today, I'm gonna have the video, you know, 15-20 minutes. Hopefully this drive today is another shining example of that. But, you know, local time here is 4 p.m. It's, you know, semi-rush hour, and, you know, some of these kind of maneuvers and difficulties in this drive, I think will really showcase, you know, how well it's doing. So let's see. Now, beyond that, yeah, so let's see, I'm going 45 and a 44. Everything's going really smooth. It says pay attention, can't be staring at this too much. So it's really nice with this version. You don't have to, you know, as long as you have sunglasses on, you don't have to mess with the steering wheel or anything. All the monitoring really wants is for you to pay attention to the road, which I think is definitely a reasonable expectation, considering this is technically still a beta. One thing that I know a lot of people have been thinking about, something I've been wondering about myself, is, you know, what is going to actually be revealed on 10.10. Tesla was going to have a big reveal on A8, and people are obviously speculating that it's the cyber taxi, which I think the name for it's going to be. And from what I've heard, of course, this is totally uncorroborated, just rumors. It's not going to have like a front and back row. It's going to be one row, and it's not going to have a steering wheel, and that is going to be the cyber taxi vehicle, although other vehicles can also play taxi. So that's an interesting thing to look forward to. Also out in the news today, they were talking about how there's going to be a new variations of the Model Y. There could be a compact Model Y, a 7-seater Model Y, and some other variations that, you know, will add a little bit of a mix up to the lineup, but also some cost savings for people that, you know, that could be helpful too. And I think that's especially relevant in, you know, lower income countries where, you know, Model Y or Model 3 may be cost prohibitive. So that's interesting to look forward to. So far, super smooth drive. We're going 51 into 45. Super smooth. Can't complain about it. But yeah, I mean, this build is just on point. You know, it's just, it feels like I'm driving. It does. Maybe a little slower, because sometimes, you know, in the Teslas, it's very easy to speed because the drive is so smooth and so easy to accelerate. But It does feel extremely human-like, and whatever they're doing on the back end to make the neural network with supposedly NVIDIA chips or whatever, it really is quite tremendous. So blown away with that. But some other Tesla news I thought I'd discuss, see if you guys find it interesting. The Tesla Semi is supposedly being reworked and upgraded, and the second version is going to come out soon, and they're hoping to go into production in 2027. That is super cool. I think, obviously, with semis, with the weight loads and all the issues that semis have, I think Tesla semi-truck could be a real game changer if they can do it right. But I think it's obviously a very difficult thing to do with the weight and the distances, and I think the thing that's most difficult, obviously, is that you have to have very fast charging, and you have to have the charging kind of spread out throughout all the freeways in the United States. And I think that part of it is probably going to take longer than the truck itself. Although I'm sure for maybe facility to warehouse to warehouse facility, especially for big ones like for PepsiCo or for Tesla, they can obviously accommodate that. But just more of like a mass market electric semi, that's definitely going to be a pretty big feat, but it would be a pretty awesome one as well. Now, what other news was there? I guess Dojo, their AI chip for video processing, they're already working on version 2. Version 3 is coming along. And so these left-hand turns are always kind of difficult because people start getting in this left-hand lane super early. Oh, I'm going straight, actually, so I guess it's not a problem for me. Typically, a lot of times I turn left here. Okay, pay attention to the road. Sure, let me pay attention to the road. So one thing I'd love to hear from you guys is where are you guys watching this from? I do wonder if a lot of the people watching the videos are from the United States, where maybe you just don't have a Tesla yet or whatever, and you just enjoy the videos, or are you from another country or someplace where you can't do the FSD yet? Because it is a really fun thing to watch progress and to get to test it with your own vehicle. Obviously, Waymo and Cruise and some of these other FSD company or full taxi type companies that do automated driving are pretty cool. But most of those companies, including Waymo, especially Cruise, they had, I think Cruise, from what I understand, they had more. Well, basically what they would do is, if there was a problem, they would basically have somebody remotely drive the car, in some place. They would just remote into the car and drive it. And from what I've read, they had more people that would remotely go into the cars and drive them than they actually did have for vehicles, which is crazy. That doesn't seem like a real long-term solution to full self-driving, right? You might as well just have the driver at that point. And then for Waymo, they also have that, but I think it's a much lower amount. I don't think it's like a 1-to-1 type of ratio. And then I'm sure if Tesla reveals the cyber taxi and they roll that out, that they will still have some type of remote driving option for the taxis. If there is, one of those, hopefully, 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000 issues that pops up. But that is much more feasible and obviously makes a lot more sense financially than having 1-to-1 remote drivers with a autonomous taxi. There's nothing autonomous about it in that point, right? But it'll be interesting to see. But so, I mean, you can see, though, how relaxed I am with this FSD version, right? I mean, I really am relaxed. It takes the drives almost perfectly. You can see there's a lot of traffic. The spacing between the vehicles is all very comfortable. Speed limit is very comfortable. It's almost getting to the point where this is so nonchalant, where at a certain point making these videos is going to be kind of silly, because there's really not going to be any issues to report. You know, I mean, I think we're really not that far away from there, where it's just, okay, it just works. And there's really, you know, if there was some, you know, one in 100 drives or something where something went wrong, oh, well, that's actually pretty interesting, you know, but I think that's going to be pretty rare. Well, let's see. I would be interested to see if there's any hiccups in this drive. Okay, so one thing I like, the car is getting over early. The left-hand turn light is way up there. I mean, probably, I don't know, 50 yards, maybe a little further. And the car knew to get over very early. Even though there's left-hand turns into this little shopping center right here, the car got over at the appropriate time. And that's a huge relief, because in the earlier builds, it would not get over at the right time. And that would just totally, you know, you would miss the turn, or you'd have to be holding up traffic while it got over. And it just really created a real uncomfortable environment. But now the car is getting over at the appropriate time and really handling it like a champ. So that's a relief. All right, let's see.